what is happening, you guys? I hope you are doing well. So today we're going to be taking a delve into Mordekaiser, a champion that we've previously seen in music videos such as Pentakill. Actually, I think it might just be Pentakill. Mordekaiser has come up a couple of times. He came up in my previous video regarding Swain as well, because Mordekaiser used to have some kind of control over Raum, who is the demon that is Swain is currently controlling, that in the Immortal Bastion. So I figured this would be quite a good champion to follow up with. I know Udia's just had a recent update, so Udia will be the next champion that I will cover, but I decided that I wanted to kind of go over Mordekaiser. I also got very excited because I found out that the project skin is like Mordekaiser's like second skin that has voice lines, and I absolutely adore the project skins. So I immediately got excited and hyped and realised I had to do this video. So we're doing it. So yay! As per usual, you know, we usually pop over to the cheeky little wiki page first of all, have a look, have a gander, see what there is. However, Mordekaiser's wiki page is a little bit weird. So, as you can see on here, you know, you have the little intro bit, all that kind of stuff, and then you go down to all the background, all the lore, and there's nothing there. There is nothing written up. So what I decided to do instead is I actually did find that there is actually two kind of short stories that have been written about Mordekaiser, so I figured we would kind of read through those, and then I'll come back and go over some of these like facts and stuff about him that have kind of been summarized. This is known as Mordekaiser, who is the Iron Revenant, a name that I absolutely think is incredible, by the way. Like, oh, like what a good freaking name. And this design is absolutely gorgeous. I think from what I saw, Mordekaiser recently had, well, I think a couple of years ago, had an update. So I think that like a lot of his like skins looked a lot newer and stuff from what I remember. So in a previous epoch, the fierce warlord San Azul rampaged across the northern wildlands. Driven by dark faith, he crushed every tribe and settlement in his path, forging an empire in blood and death. As his mortal life neared its end, he took great satisfaction in knowing he had doubtlessly earned a seat at the gods' table in the glorious Hall of Bones for all eternity. Interesting. Also, love that. Hall of Bones. God, there was some well good names in this. Honestly, that's a pretty cool name. Yet, when he died, he found no halls or glory awaiting him. Instead, San Azul stood in an empty grey wasteland, shrouded by ethereal fog and plagued by discordant whispers. Occasionally, other lost souls drifted nearby, little more than ghostly shapes wandering in their own personal oblivion. So, anger consumed San Azul. Had his faith been false? Or was his domination of the world simply not enough to grant him the immortality he craved? Surely this emptiness could not be all there was. Yet, it seemed no end to it. He watched as the lesser spirit slowly faded into the fog, unmade and lost to time. But San Azul refused to fade. His will, tempered by rage and torment, held him together. Over time, the unknowable, disembodied whispering in that place crystallized into words he could almost comprehend. This, he learned, was Ocknan, a profane tongue unspoken by any among the living. Slowly, a deceitful plan began to form in what was left of San Azul's mind. He began to whisper temptations across the veil between realms, promising his indomitable strength to anyone who dared listen. And sure enough, the day came when a coven of sorcerers resolved to bring San Azul back from the dead. Lacking any flesh or bone, he spurred them to make him stronger than any mortal, binding his spirit form in dark metal plates wrought in the likeness of his old armour. So he rose, a hulking revenant of iron and hate. Oh, that is a good fucking line. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, that sounded cool. These power-hungry sorcerers had hoped to use him as a weapon in their trivial wars. Instead, he slew them where they stood, their weapons of magic useless against him. In desperation, they screamed out his name to bind him, but to no avail, for San Azul was no more. With an ethereal rumble, he spoke his spirit name. With an ethereal rumble, he spoke his spirit name in Ocknan. Mordekaiser. Oh, I wonder where like just popped that name from. I wonder where it came. I wonder where it kind of came from, because like obviously San Azul's quite different, and Mordekaiser is a very unique name. Was he just like, I want what's on the tongue? What am I thinking? Then he's like Mordekaiser. You know, why not? Thus began his second conquest of the mortal realm. As before, his ambitions were great, only now empowered by necromantic sorceries he could never have previously imagined. From the fearful, dissipating souls of the sorcerers, Mordekaiser forged a weapon fit for an Emperor of Death, his brutal mace, Nightfall, and seized control of the army they had raised. Ooh. To his foes, it seemed like he only cared for massacre and destruction. Entire generations perished under his relentless campaigns. However, there was far more to Mordekaiser's plan. He raised the immortal bastion at the centre of his empire. While it assumed it was merely a seat of power, some came to know the secrets it held. Mordekaiser hungered for all the forbidden knowledge of spirits and death, and a true understanding of the realm, or the realms, beyond. Okay. Such tyranny could only bring him enemies. The Iron Revenant was defeated, surprisingly, by an alliance of the Noxide tribes and betrayal from within his own inner circle. This hidden cabal managed to sever the anchors of his soul from his armour and sealed their iron empty shell away in a secret place. Now, the only thing that I know linking to like Noxus and a hidden cabal is the Black Rose. So like LeBlanc. I hope I'm right. If I've got that right, I'm learning. And so Mordekaiser was cast out of the material realm. However, unbeknownst to anyone, he had planned for this. Indeed, it was a pivotal part of his design. Domination and deceit had carried him far, but he knew that a destiny far grander than the Hall of Bones awaited him. There, in a once empty wasteland, all of those who had died under his latest reign were waiting. Perverted by dark sorcery, their spirits would never fade. The strongest became his devout, eternal army, bound to his will, but even the weak were given purpose. From the subtle matters of their souls, Mordekaiser would forge a new empire. This would be the building blocks and mortar for his afterworld. Centuries have passed of Runeterra, and another empire has arisen around the immortal bastion. Mordekaiser's name is still whispered in fear and awe around those who studied the old histories and remembered unkindly by the few ancient souls who knew him. For them, the greatest terror would be for Mordekaiser to find his own way to return permanently. It is something they will pray will not come to pass, for they know not a way to stop him. Oh, that's it. Oh. Interesting backstory. So he was a bit of a nightmare in life, you know, a bit evil. Then kind of hoped to go to this Hall of Bones, didn't end up going there, ended up in some weird evil spirit realm. And I'm wondering if I've heard of it, I'm not sure. And then got summoned back by this band of sorcerers to be used as a weapon, popped off, killed them all, and then raised his own army, and then also created the Immortal Bastion, and then got killed, and then ended up back in the realm, but that was planned, and then now he's like popping off again and creating another army. Oh, so it sounds like as well the Immortal Bastion is in Noxus. So it sounds like that must be why. Because on the wiki, I clicked on the Immortal Bastion and it kept taking me back to Noxus. And I was like, why is it taking me back to Noxus? I didn't know it was somewhere actually in Noxus. So it must have been built up. So like Noxus must have been built around the Immortal Bastion, which is where Swain got Realm from. Interesting. Okay, so this is the second short story and it's called The Final Reign. Yeah, give it a read. So, a raised fist. A surge of necromantic power. Before him, the final spire of the final tower takes form, inky smoke coalescing into black iron. Mordekaiser gazes upon his domain with dark pride. Meet Norachnon, his afterworld is complete. Once he stood in this very place, a mortal soul faced with the emptiness of oblivion. Now a kingdom stretches before him, forged through his works. He strides down the path towards his fortress, revelling in the satisfaction of his work. Each stone underfoot his doing, the battlements and ramparts, all shaped from cruel magic and iron will. Where there was nothing, Mordekaiser forged his own reality, a realm where all souls will soon dwell in eternity, never to fade. Sarnazul blinked and looked around, uncertain, his mind blank. I am dead. The thought flitted by, a whisper on the wind. As the truth of it sank in, for just a moment a fleeting sadness flooded his heart. Then laughter welled up, a rumble from his gut that washed over his entire body, overflowed from his chest and poured into the rumbling cascade. Good. Sarnazul scanned the distance for a grand gateway of souls that would lead to the famed Hall of Bones, searched for the attendants who would carry him triumphantly into the eternal, savoured his growing excitement to meet the great conquerors who came before him, yet there was nothing but fog as far as he could see. Sarnazul took a step forward and then looked down, surprised. Fine sand, a coarse grit shifted underfoot. In the distance, discordant voices rustled, too quiet to make out the words. This makes no sense. He struck out across the wasteland, determined to find the truth. Time passed, untold. Confusion melted into disbelief. Disbelief kindled anger. Anger flared into fury. Nothing. There is nothing. The desiccated sands extended endlessly. The relentless voices whispered on, a maddening itch in the back of his mind. The fog never abated, an eternal haze that hovered a shroud over all. Had the priests lied? Or were they false prophets, prattling fools proclaiming hollow superstitions? Or had the ancestors made a grotesque error of judgment and not welcomed him into the great halls? These questions gnawed at him at first, but then they did not matter. Sarnazul realised that now. Nothing mattered but the present, pressing truth. There was nothing here, a vast emptiness devoid of reward, devoid of promise. As this truth percolated through him, the shadow of despair stalked Sarnazul, hungry to consume him. But he was Sarnazul, conqueror of the wildlands, master of the tribes. He had built an empire where there was none. In life he had overcome all odds and conquered despair through will and ambition. Death would be no different. If death does not hold the kingdoms I was promised, I will forge them myself. Ooh, so we're getting some motivation here as to why he is the way he is. Mordekaiser walks beneath the inner portcullis, fashioned after that of the immortal bastion, his mortal seat of power. He walks through the entryway and into the great hall. Before him his throne looms. All around, in constant cacophony, the endless wailing of souls rises and falls, an unholy chorus of anguish. Yet, Mordekaiser does not hear them, or rather hears them as one might hear the clang of metal in a war camp, or the sound of boots on gravel during a forced march. Common sounds, unnoteworthy of their banality. After all, the worthy souls stand at attention along the hall, and none of them dare speak. All is as it should be. Mordekaiser steps towards the throne. The arcane tome floated above the pedestal, serene and untouched, a strange contrast to all the blood spilled around it. The last surviving mage raised a feeble hand, blood trickling from his brow. Small licks of fire danced between his fingers, a final spell, one last desperate attempt. Mordekaiser spoke bemused. Oh, shall I try any voices? I haven't heard his voice yet, so I don't know what he sounds like. Shall I do what I think he sounds like? Okay, wait. So... I was gonna go full on Yoda. Such magics would consume you. God damn it. I'll just speak normally because I don't think I can do it justice. Such magics would consume you, mortal, and your precious books as well. The magic spat his words. I don't matter. Nothing matters but stopping you from obtaining it. A gout of fire, burning blue with heat, burst from the mage's hands. It engulfed the Iron Revenant towering above him. Scorching energy raced up the arms of the mage, the backlash of the spell splitting his own flesh. Still, the mage pressed on, teeth cracking as he gritted them defiantly. Kaiser stepped forward, a spirit encased in a suit of iron armour, shielding the tome from the flames. In his hands, Nightfall, his infamous mace, pulsed an ethereal green. The heat from the fire cracked the stone and melted the flesh of the other, already dead mages. But Mordekaiser stood stoic against the onslaught. Finally, his body broken, the mage collapsed to his knees, his ragged breath resolving in a whispered prayer for his power to be enough. If Mordekaiser still had a body of flesh, he would have smiled, lacking in conviction. The mage stifled a sob as Mordekaiser approached. He squinted up at the spectre and spoke through a dry throat and cracked. You will not find what you seek. A brutish monster could never understand the secrets of the Tome of Spirits and... The swing of the mace. A satisfying crash. Another surge of blood joined the sticky pools coagulating in the room. Another broken mage, the 13th, fell still on the floor. Mordekaiser laughed. You mistake brutality for ignorance. He gazed around the room and whispered a verse of the unspoken tongue of the dead. Pitiful struggle, freed from flesh, you are all mine. He tapped Nightfall on the ground. It glowed brighter, almost seemed to breathe, as 13 points of light rose from the broken bodies then sank into the earth. So is that him claiming their souls then? So kind of like Thresh. That's quite similar to Thresh with the lantern, where he like takes the souls from the living, because they're still alive, I think, when Thresh does it, and puts them into his lantern. Does Mordekaiser do that when they're dead then? Or could he... I mean, I'm guessing if he could do that when they were alive, he would have done it, I guess. But interesting. So he can take those souls, and that's how he has all the souls in his little kingdom. Jeez. Mordekaiser turned his attention back to the book, still floating in its place, ahum with spirit magic. Another piece of knowledge for his plans, another treasure in his conquest. He stepped forward to collect his prize. The throne looms before him. Its back of sheer iron pillars extends upwards and tapers to vicious points. Ochnun's script, angular and sharp, runs around the throne's base. The ever-present whispering is almost a roar here, incessant and desperate. Mordekaiser raises a hand on the armrest, taking pride in his work. This piece subsumed more souls in its creation than any other single part in his fortress. The wails emanating from it are music to him. With a thought, Mordekaiser calls Nightfall into his hands, and with a swing he obliterates the throne. A squall of 100 souls echoes in the great hall as they are released from the throne, dissipated into oblivion. Mordekaiser watches them vanish with a grim satisfaction. Thrones are for mortals encumbered by flesh and human exhaustion. He is now far more. He steps atop the twisted iron and looks back across the great hall. His generals' souls that were worthy to die at his own hand when he last walked the physical realm stand at attention. None so much flinch in response. None will move without his direct command. Now his kingdom is truly ready. Kaiser strides out of the great hall, towards the heart of his fortress, the centerpiece of his power and his machinations, towards the relic that ties Mitna Rachnun to the mortal realm, towards a place that gives the secret heart of the immortal bastion its true purpose. In his first life, he thought himself a great conqueror, befitting the eternal halls of his faith. How small, how petty, how mortal his ambitions were then. But where others accepted death as the end, he used it to forge the beginning of his true conquest. And now, he can hear and understand every whisper of this realm with stark clarity. Now, the magic of death itself courses through him. Now he holds the arcane secrets gathered over a second lifetime, wrested from the hidden and unknown places of the world. Few other beings can claim the mastery of spirit, death, and mortal magics that he holds. He will wield them to shape all realms to his iron will. The time has come for him to return to the living. All the souls of Runeterra await. Mordekaiser raises Nightfall in one hand, and so his final reign begins. Oh, that was a well good story. Flipping heck, that was so interesting. I like the way it had like flashbacks in it as well. I would love a cinematic of that. Ooh, like this is like a cinematic. Oh, that'd be sick. That'd be so good. I really enjoyed that actually. It was really interesting to get to learn more about his character and his like ambition, because he obviously seems like a very ambitious character. He was ambitious in life, he's ambitious in death. Not much has changed for him apart from, you know, his power and his abilities. And yeah, it definitely seems like, yeah, it definitely seems quite evil. I thought the other thing that was quite interesting was some of the like relations that are on this like wiki page, because it gives us a bit of an idea about which characters he's had interactions with, and he has like it gives us a bit more like interesting information about like what Mordekaiser has done with other characters and how he's influenced stuff. Mordekaiser built the Immortal Bastion, which is the fortress on which the capital of Nox is built around. So given Sarnazul's faith in the Hall of Bones, it's safe to say his culture did not have a kindred myth, which would explain why he was never claimed by them. Oh, interesting. So I wonder if the culture has to have a kindred myth to like for them to exist. Like, is it almost this system of like you have to believe in it for it to be true? I'm curious. I was saying that before where I was wondering like how it was different. Blanc, who we know from Swain's video is cheeky little madam, another from his inner circle, was instrumental to his downfall. Apparently she is preparing to banish him when he returns to keep the Immortal Bastion for herself. Oh. Rel is LeBlanc's plan to defeat Mordekaiser after he returns. However, Rel does likely not have knowledge of Mordekaiser. Her connection to the Iron Revenant was kept secret during production to inform. Oh. So apparently Rel could defeat Mordekaiser's physical metal form, but he would just retreat to the Death Realm. Yeah. Januk tasked Exiriel to obtain the elixir of Ular of which he'd be able to resurrect Mordekaiser. Ooh, shit. However, Azuriel intentionally gave him a fake vial and left Chinook while stealing an old ARCANE bell. Interesting. So apparently it's not directly confirmed, it's been implied that Mordekaiser may have a certain level of awareness about Viega's actions and is waiting to benefit from them when he decides to return. But if they were to directly fight, Mordekaiser would likely win. So he's building his strength in the Shadow Isles where he can, until he can lay waste to Noxus and reclaim the Immortal Bastion. Yeah, so he's lost the Immortal Bastion and obviously Noxus is built around it. But he's currently in the Shadow Isles. No, that must not be right. I think that's the previous one, the Master of Metal. I don't know if that's like the previous one because I know he's no longer affiliated with the Shadow Isles. That's more like Thresh's territory, so I don't know if that's the correct fact actually. But I think these are correct. I think this is the rework. So next, we're going to take a listen and react to the Mordekaiser voice lines. So I know some of you may comment I should use the skin spotlight, and I do appreciate and understand that. However, I just think that this channel makes these videos so well that it really just gives me a feel for the character and just helps me like understand the character a little bit better. Like I think just like the visuals with it just helps me like capture like this really great experience for like my first impression of the character. We do also have the project voice lines to listen to, and I am going to use the skin spotlight for those. But yeah, I think I'm just going to use this one for now because I really enjoy it. So let's take a listen to the quotes. I'm really excited.
Once I suffered
oh, yes!
I am Iron Incarnate.
This is fucking cool.
Slain, thrice born.
Ooh.
Death cannot hold me. I have bent the realm of the dead to my will. This world shall be next.
Okay, so just my first little bit of feedback, it's weird that the head isn't moving. Does anyone else kind of, like his like shoulders are moving, but like his head isn't moving? I don't know. It just looked a bit weird to me. Was that just me? Maybe it's just me. It might just be me. Might just be me, probably. Probably it's just me. But God, that looks fucking cool. I also understand half those references because we got those from the biography. So yes, let's go. Obviously, initially, his first slaying was when he was slain as Sana Zul, and then went back, and then the second time he obviously became Mordekaiser when he got resurrected, but then got killed as Mordekaiser. So then he went back to the Death Realm, and now he's born again, and he is coming back to Runeterra. I love when I understand the references. It's fucking great. I feel like I've achieved something. It's fantastic. But yeah, bent the realm of the dead to his will. He built the Immortal Bastion. That was on Nox. Well, that was where Nox is now. But like, he's got his whole little death realm and everything. He's got his army and everything. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive, I will say.
Fools fear death. The strong wield it. In the world beyond, blackened ichor filled a crumbling sky. As souls withered to nothing. But I refuse to fade.
That quote is so fucking cool. In the world beyond, black and ichor filled a crumbling sky as souls withered to nothing, but I refuse to fade. Ooh, that is a good quote. I like that a lot. That is a freaking ass cool quote. Also, I love the fact that in his voice you can almost hear like this echo in his voice, like his voice is like echoing in the metal armor that he's wearing. I think that's a really cool little feature. Also, I did his impression completely wrong, so that's quite funny. Let's continue.
I carve my kingdom beyond, from the ashes of nothing. No mortals, not even gods, will stop me from claiming what is mine. I alone am the bastion between eternal existence and oblivion.
Oh, I'm getting proper like Sauron vibes.
March toward endless glory. My will is once again bound to iron.
So cool.
All mortals reek with the stench of decaying flesh. I stand eternal.
Quick question about that one, if I'm just going to be a little bit pedantic. If he can smell things, does that mean he can, like, taste things? Like, how does that work? How does it work when you're, like, a ghosty kind of spirit soul thing possessing this armor and you can smell? How does that work? Just curious, because that means you must be able to taste, right? Because they're linked. And then you've got to have, like, brain to, like, to be able to compute what it is. It's going to be a little bit pedantic, I'm just wondering. I think the answer is going to be magic, you know, it usually is in these things. It's like, why can characters do that? Magic? Oh. But, you know, just wondering.
The dead belong to me. The living shall be next. The world has tried to forget my existence. Time to remind them why they fear.
That's cool.
I am surrounded by weak and petty souls, clinging to flesh. So many blunder on with a false sense of purpose. I shall sunder them from their lives.
Jeez.
Death by my hand is a blessing.
Definitely very murdery.
Flesh constrains, iron liberates.
I do love the iron theme.
I sunder the natural cycle so that all may be preserved. I promise eternity. The ungrateful call me tyrant. The wise call me lord.
Oh.
Some fear me, others worship at my feet. All will serve.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, what I want is I want Mordekaiser trying to invade Noxus, and I want a fight between Swain and Mordekaiser. Oh my fucking god. Oh, that'd be so good. I wonder who would win. Interesting. And then it also makes me wonder, would LeBlanc try to work with Swain, with Rel, to try and get rid of Mordekaiser, and then try and get rid of Swain, so then she can have the Immortal Bastion, or what? Like, oh my god. I mean, I'm presuming at this point Mordekaiser is quite difficult to defeat from the sounds of it, so I kind of feel like they would just, like, defeat the outside of him, and then, like, his soul would return wherever it was. They need to get Thresh in here. Get Thresh to put him in his little lantern. I wonder if he could do that. I wonder who'd win between Mordekaiser and Thresh. Because obviously between Mordekaiser and Viego, Mordekaiser would win. So who would win between them two? Ooh, there's so many good fights I'm, like, picturing right now. It's so good.
I will silence the incessant thrum of mortal hearts. I will grind their petty souls into mortar. The din of the living world, the silence of the hereafter. I rule it all. Naive men pray to the gods.
Oh.
They will learn to pray to me.
That's interesting though, because that is a comment about his belief when he was San Azul, I'm guessing. So his belief in the Hall of Bones. Obviously, I'm guessing, I wonder if he believes himself to have been naive back then for thinking it existed, and then obviously he didn't end up there. So I'm wondering if that's something that he has learned himself, and he is calling himself naive at that point. Oh, I like his little laugh.
Foolish curse me. Their gods cannot save them from me. False kings cower beneath false crowns. A true lord takes what he will.
I mean, that could be to anyone.
All will bend their knee in fear and fealty. Shed the frailty of flesh. Embrace the cold edge of iron. See the truth and despair. All will die. All will be mine.
So he definitely believes himself to be, like, extremely powerful, like, if not the most powerful. Like, he definitely, he doesn't even think gods can can go against him. Like, I think his belief, even though he's died 3 times, he's also died twice technically, he's been reborn 3 times. I think that he believes in a way that he is now immortal, you know, just from some of the stuff he said, but also, like, it kind of makes sense because he actually could be, and that he is probably undefeatable. But I also wonder, from the sounds of it, like, obviously it doesn't sound like there's anyone that's truly really defeated him apart from LeBlanc, but even then she betrayed him and stuff, but like he still didn't die. So yeah, I think egotistically this character just 100% believes that, like, they can take over the whole world. But also, if they've raised a fucking army, they genuinely could. Especially, like, say, like, this character paired up with, like, Viego. Whoa, like, flipping heck. That'd be a bit of a nightmare, wouldn't it? Be a bit buggered, wouldn't they?
Weaklings cower in the light. I bring eternal darkness. Mortals plan in fear for tomorrow. I build for eternity. I forge Nightfall from mortal terror.
Ooh.
A fine addition to my domain. Only the worthy receive the gift of Nightfall's kiss.
And he claims the souls of those that he believes are worthy to join his army, I think. So he's essentially, like, recruiting by, like, seeing how powerful people are in person, like, by fighting them, and then takes him to his army. That's kind of what it seems like, because he's telling, like, all those mages that have, like, brought him back, because obviously they're relatively powerful, but just not strong enough to defeat him. So yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like.
The unworthy are dust, doomed to wither and fade. Death is my kindness. Resist or give in, your end is the same. Nightfall hungers. Soon, Nightfall shall feast.
I wonder how he made Nightfall.
All shall serve the true Lord of the living and the dead. Let the screams begin. Bow before your damnation. Accept your demise. You are already doomed. Face your end. Forfeit your soul. You will be far more useful in death. Such meaningless struggle. Death does not tire. Submit. Bend to my will. Thus begins the slaughter.
What?
You were correct to fear. What I want, I take.
Oh, that big guitar was good.
None can escape me. Destiny, domination, deceit.
Ooh.
In the end, I claim all.
Flipping heck. What I have done this time, which is different to the other times, is I've had a quick look through the voice lines, and I've seen there's a section about different champions that Mordekaiser specifically kills, and I saw Swain and I was like, get away, we need to see what this is, but on camera. So I'm gonna take a quick reaction to this bit, because everything else pretty much is a bit more generic, or like, die and join me, because you have no choice. So we're going to take a little bit of this, because I kind of want to see what Mordekaiser has to say to some of the other champions.
Clearly, your ambition outpaced your ability.
Oh, that is a roast! I love that laugh. I love it, that's amazing. Wait, maybe I can do that laugh. Nope, never mind. Nope, I can't. I had a quick look through to see if there was kind of any voice lines in the skin spotlights that I kind of felt added to Mordekaiser's story, but there wasn't really much. I mean, this character definitely seems like, I mean, they had a belief system. They spent, you know, their whole life as Sarnazul you know, trying to make themselves worthy to go into the Hall of Bones. They ended up in the Death Realm, so they feel like they had failed, or they felt like their belief was misguided. So they decided they were going to essentially create their own afterlife and take over everything, and then come back to the mortal realm and just take it over again, because, you know, that's what they had done in life, and that's what they had always done. It kind of makes me wonder about the character of Sarnazul and how they were raised to get to this point. You know, how did they essentially become the person that they end up being, and how did that end up with them becoming Mordekaiser? I feel like we didn't really get to see too much of that. We just kind of knew that they were like kind of almost like a warlord essentially in their day-to-day life, but it makes me wonder more about like them as a character from back then to this point. The other set of voice lines that we are going to listen to is the Project Mordekaiser skin. So the Project skin tends to be like a very like almost like cyberpunky kind of skin, and most characters have the Project skin. However, this is the first one that I've come across that actually has voice lines relating to the Project story, of which I don't know much about, but I really should, because I absolutely love like cyber futuristic stuff. Oh, it's so good. So we're gonna take a listen to these voice lines and see how different it is, because obviously Mordekaiser is very much about like, you know, like the afterlife, taking it over, killing peeps, being the true lord of everything, and then recruiting you into his army to take over. So, you know, let's see how the Project skins differ.
Kinetic relies on technology I have already infected.
Oh my god.
I have grown far beyond the capabilities of your platform.
Okay.
You caught a glimpse of something man was not meant to see.
First of all, oh my god, the voice sounds awesome. Second of all, I'm kind of getting like, oh, like what vibes? Like Megatron from the Transformers kind of meets like, is it like Megabyte or something from like Reboot, which is this really old 90s TV show that I used to absolutely freaking adore. Like, this is the kind of vibes I'm getting. Like, he's taken over, he's evil, like, he's like hacked the mainframe. A little bit Terminator-esque, you know what I mean? Like, taking over, like, the robots are taking over. This is kind of the vibe I'm getting, you know? Like, he is like intelligent life that has, you know, gone beyond and now has become sentient. This is the vibes I'm getting, and I'm fucking loving it. Fucking cool. Let's continue.
Platform, you will be corrected.
Oh my god, this would be cool to fight against.
Project platform detected. Breaching firewalls. Personality fragmentation of Pike platform at over 90%.
Ooh.
You exist outside our variables, Renekton. What are you?
Ooh, what? Ooh.
Pre-collapse technology is unwise, Sejuani. I know you, Senna. The ghost in cyberspace.
Oh, that is sick. Oh my god. Oh my god. The ghost in cyber. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Ah! Fucking love Senna. Oh my god, I can't.
Outcasts are considered an unsafe element, Cyrus. You must be destroyed.
Ooh.
You are closer to machine than you realize, Varys.
Oh my, wait. Varys has Project Skin? Oh, spoilers, but also I'm so excited. I absolutely love Varys. Like the Varys music video, one of my favorite things. Oh my god, it was so good.
You have hidden yourself well, but not well enough. You rebelled against Project, but ignored the true threat.
Interesting.
Downloading Lissandra's data. Download complete.
Oh.
Ascensions beyond you, Master G. Humanity is the true virus. It will be contained.
Better girl, let's go.
Too unstable. Must quarantine Cyberbrain. Renekton, you are so close to the point of true ascension.
Oh my god.
Passion will not overcome my logic, Sejuani. Return to cyberspace, Senna. You are already one of us.
Like a ghost in the machine, like Senna is already one of them. Oh my god. Oh my god. Interesting. Oh my god, I really want the Project storyline. Interesting.
The city is secure, Cyrus. Your outcasts will be dealt with.
Ooh.
Separating minds of various platforms. Minds quarantine.
Oh, sorry. Oh my
Unregistered
god.
technology hid you from Project Vane, but not from me.
Oh my god.
You continue to resist. Fascinating. To err is human. Deleted. Peace in our time.
Well, Osh.
This is the price of security.
God, he's like what I'm imagining the future of like security like software that you have for your PC. Just like deleted, and you're like, what? Oh my god!
Basement is the only logical end.
Oh no.
Maybe I shouldn't. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
What?
My humor subroutine. Humor not found.
I like that. That's fun. I like that one. That was fun.
Your mind contains data on an old ally. Who is this wolf-bitten warrior?
Who is that? I had a quick look to see who that's referring to. So apparently that's referring to Odia, who is Sejuani's dad. Apparently, according to what I just googled. Please feel free to correct me if that's wrong, because I obviously don't know, but that is what Google said, so you can tell off Google, not me. But that makes me really excited to go into next week's One with Odia! I'm excited. I'm very excited about ideas, actually. Oh my god.
Law suppressed. Command ignored.
Rude.
You cannot run. You will not resist. Human compliance is mandatory. If technology is your god, then you will bow before it. You will bow before me.
This is so cool.
Is mine. All who resist will die. Long have I waited, spreading within the code. Humans cannot be trusted with their own survival. For the city's security, the greatest threat to security is the city.
I mean,
Everywhere, in everything, I see and know all.
yeah, so it kind of is like the technology that got built to protect them is actually the thing that's basically become sentient to take them out, is kind of what's happened here with Mordekaiser, which is pretty interesting. I was going to say, that's quite a good twist on it. Oh god, I really want the project storyline. That was some of the voice lines for the project skin for Mordekaiser. Now, very excitingly, there is actually a very short cinematic that I found for the project skin, which is Mordekaiser fighting Renkaton, which I'm like, wait, what? So we're gonna give it a watch, because like, I don't know what this is, but I'm like, I'm pretty intrigued to find out. Ooh, this looks cool. Oh! 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 What the fuck? Oh! Oh, mate! Oh my god. Wow. I'm just gonna stop fucking there. Where the fuck is the full set? What? And I need the fight scene. What? You can't tease me like this. It turns out there is literally an entire, like, god, I mean, there's about flipping like 10 videos here, all on project skins. How did I not know? I think this is a video in itself. I think this is a video where I react to all the project skins because I want to watch them all and see it. So if you guys want to see me react to all the project skins and all the project like videos and trailers that they've done, please let me know down in the comments below, because I am so down to do that. But this video is about Mordekaiser, so that was a little sneak peek of the Mordekaiser versus Renkaton. So if you want to see me react to more, just let me know. Oh, in the voice line video I listened to, it actually turns out they actually used the theme, so it's actually the theme that I heard for. It was actually amazing. I was going to say I really enjoyed the music for that video. I was actually going to look up afterwards where that music came from, but it turns out it's actually the Champion theme. I think it fit the Champion really well. I think it fit the line super well. Definitely like, I love the way that, like, the rock music of it was very, like, threatening, and it was very, like, loud and almost, like, war themed, you know, kind of similar to, like, the way that Swain's was, like, you know, it was this, like, leader, like, this, like, strong, powerful, like heavy drums, heavy guitar music. I thought it was brilliant. Really enjoyed that. I was going to say it was really good. Really, really good. I just wish I'd realised it was his theme as I was listening to it, but oh well, it's too late. So that was Mordekaiser. So my overall impression is, I mean, we haven't gotten a great deal of story for this character. I mean, we've gotten some, but there isn't a great deal of story there. It kind of seems like there's gonna, like, his, like, era is sort of, like, almost coming, like there could be some kind of story coming, you know. I don't know 100%, but hopefully there is some kind of comeback and some kind of big twist for this character coming very soon. I think it would have been interesting to see what he was like before the rework, but I really like this character's design. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, and yeah, I think very interesting. The voice lines were great, but I think compared to some of the other characters, there maybe isn't as much depth to this character, but I think it does make sense though, because he is a character that has, like, died, he has, like, a goal, he knows what that goal is, and he doesn't need, like, emotions and things to sort of, like, get in the way of that. Like, he kind of had that when he first came to the afterlife of San Azul, but then he very quickly was like, well, if there isn't an afterlife, I'm just gonna make my own, because I was this awesome, like, powerful person when I was alive, and I'm just gonna continue to do that, and to continue to be absolutely terrifying and horrifying. So yeah, this was my kind of reaction to Mordekaiser. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Plenty more content where this is coming from. Thank you so much to everyone for the suggestions of future champions you want me to react to this way. I've got them on a list. The next one is going to be the Udyr one, so I'm very excited for that. But thank you so much, everyone, and yeah, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Let me know of any other little factoids or bits that, you know, that you want to tell me about, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye!